Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. It is the week of December the 7th, 2023. Current challenge is a 1-week repeat of Batman Beyond animated or animated Batman Beyond. Required characters are Harley Quinn, Bane, and Joker in keeping with the Batman theme. They are available as cheaply as bronze, silver, and silver in the store. His passive is Winning Edge. Upon special attack use, Batman receives a boost for a limited time. 1. Explosive Batarang increases basic damage. 2. Future Bat raises crit chance. And 3. The Dark Knight increases crit damage. He's got 1,100 attack, 1,050 health, and he was last available February 9th, 2023. So let's get the obvious out of the way. He's got low stats. The passive, the description isn't detailed enough. What it's saying is that Special 1, there's a 100% boost to basic damage for 8 seconds. Special 2 is a 50% boost to crit chance for 10 seconds. And a super gives you a 50% crit damage boost for 15 seconds. Even though his Special 2's last hit does the most damage, as you can see from the video that you're watching, you can see when it crits in one of the fights that it's doing over 100,000 damage. Despite that, there's still enough damage on the previous hits for a Special 2 to knock out more than one opponent. So he doesn't have that limitation that the newer characters have, where only the last hit of their Special 2 can knock out the opponent. In the past, I avoided playing with him because his stats were low, and with all the gears that can do the same thing, it's harder to strategize around that kind of time-limited effect from his passive that only happens when you use specials. And now we are on the second time around using a team based on animated Batman Beyond, and I will admit I'm warming up to him. The key is taking advantage of his Special 2 with him as a special specialist, and mostly ignoring his passive. I think if you're using him as anything except your special specialist and you have Tantu Totem in your collection, he's not going to be very effective. And the reason why is if you use only Special 1 to boost his basic, with the intent of boosting his basic, it doesn't really last long enough. And you can get gears to achieve the same effect and not have it be time limited. So in the footage, I think in one of the fights that you're going to watch, where because we've used his Special 1 repeatedly with Claw of Horus to shatter the opponent's gear because they've got Astro Harness, we are doing more than 20,000 with each basic swipe when it hit and it crits and is unblocked. Unfortunately, despite the animation for his Special 1 being very quick, right? It's just that fling, all the batarangs or whatever it is, like the shot that comes out of his hand, he can still only get 2 Special 1s on an opponent with Astro Harness before the first invulnerability is over. Now, if you use a Special 2 but don't have Tantu, you're not going to get as much out of the boosted crit chance because the damage output of specials is way higher than damage output with basic attacks. And without Tantu, you are unlikely to get a high damage special again within the 10 seconds that the boost lasts. And the effect of his passive after doing a super, I think that's pretty much useless. Supers just take too long to build up, and unlike Special 1 and Special 2, even if you have Tantu, you are not getting your power back. So the 50% crit damage boost for only 15 seconds isn't enough. As a point of comparison, Cloak of Destiny, one of the abilities is a 50% crit damage boost. No time limit, right? Still, overall, despite all those things, he's a decently effective character because his Special 2 is set up in a way with lots of pauses throughout. The pauses mean that there are fewer hits that will whiff if you happen to knock out an opponent in the middle of Batman's Special 2 instead of the last hit, so that any subsequent hits of his Special 2 are not wasted. One problem is that because his Special 2 is the first hit is not ranged, when you use Master's Death Cart with him, it shoves the opponent far enough back that if you try to do a Special 2 right away, that first hit will miss. But it's okay if you want to play it like that to get a Special 2 unblocked because most of the damage is coming later, so it's back end loaded. Overall, he's decently fun to play because of his Special 2. He could be better. I think an easy way to improve him would be to make the passive effects last longer. But, you deal with what you've got. And if you pretend like he doesn't have a passive and those are just bonuses, he's pretty decent as your special 2 specialist. So that is 185 weeks of a repeating patterns since May 2020. We are 13 weeks into the 5th cycle, and if the pattern holds, next week will be Raven Prime. And we used pretty much everybody. The only people we're missing now are John Stewart Green Lantern and Arkham Origins Bane, and we're going to get around to them. It seems like they're just creeping up on us. There are also 23 challenge characters missing, and we may get around to doing some demos with them if we get tired of doing the current challenge characters. This week's multiplayer reward is Scarecrow's Mask, which becomes Scarecrow's Ventilator Mask. When maxed out, 40% of block specials damage comes back at the opponent. Untagging healing is negated for 10 seconds against the opponent. And when evolved Untagging, there's a 100% chance to hide enemy players' character icons. Last available May the 4th, 2023. And if the pattern holds, next week should be Arkham Origins Deadshot. I was going to say Deadshot. So going from last week's most important piece of gear ever, Tantu Totem, Scarecrow's Mask is probably among the worst legendary gears, if you can call it that. Worst 4.5-star gears. The evolved ability to hide enemy players' characters' icons. It's useless against the AI. AI seems to tag in randomly anyway, so I don't think it matters for the AI to know who is in which slot. And if you're using Scarecrow's Mask on your defensive team, it might help a little bit against a live player, but most players know enough to remember who is in which slot to tag in the person that they want when they want to. Reflecting block specials damage it's okay, as long as any reduced damage is from gear effects, because otherwise you need to be taking some damage to get benefit from it. And negating healing for such a short period of time, 10 seconds is hardly anything, almost never has an impact on the fight. It's an ability that's pretty much useless. There's not enough value in those abilities to make the mask worth one of your 9 gear slots. All right, in the store, Rebirth Raven Challenge Pack, 200,000 power credits, 6.16% chance instead of 2.86% in the regular challenge pack. Not worth it unless you sell back every other character. If you're interested in keeping 2 or even 3 total characters, you're better off just buying the regular challenge pack. Better deal. Gotham Gold Pack is here for a second week. We talked about it last week. And nothing else really. Still, there were some packs that have been around now for a couple years that I guess we can really treat as being permanent packs anyways. And Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was, as expected, Raven, Superman, and the Arkham Knight. This coming weekend is probably Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, and Martian Manhunter. There's a link in the description to a thread in the Injustice Mobile subreddit from Devlin16 that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. As far as current glitches go, this is where we go into more detail every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week. However, even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review once a month, the first week of every month. And this is it. If you don't have the attention span to listen through this, you can see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, Current Working Glitches, linked in the description of this video in the eye in the top right corner. The current glitches, so that's what's working. So what we usually like to do is start with stuff that's not working. There is no working glitch for power credits. We talked about this in more detail in a previous Q&A, which used to be called P and Q and C and A and T, Season 6, Episode 9. It's probably worth repeating to the larger audience here. Some people have been successfully exploiting a glitch that requires 2 devices being logged simultaneously into one account. We strongly recommend it because of the risk and danger of having your account suspended. We typically only endorse and recommend and explain glitches that we test and confirm ourselves that don't have a danger of messing up your account. The glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards is not working. The glitch for early multiplayer season rewards is not working in a way that's exploitable, although it is probably responsible for people who are not getting their rewards at the end of a season because they got it too early and didn't even realize it. There is no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly when it's around. And the glitch that used to let you get the free energy without watching the video and seeing the ad, it's also not working, which is separate from the time shifting free energy, which is working. So since we're talking about working glitches, the challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working, confirmed on the current animated Batman Beyond challenge. Remember that it is the same glitch in pretty much every way as the one that resets the Phantom Zone progress. So when Phantom Zone is around, keep that in mind, that you are resetting the progress for both of them at the same time. We have a comment from viewer Tenme Kakde about how to do the challenge reset without deleting all the files, because one of the files is big, more than a gig, and if you would rather not waste your data, there's some files that you can shift around on your device instead of actually deleting it, so that way you don't have to re-download it. The breakthrough glitch to let you play repeatedly is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working, good for both packs with random drops, also known as loot boxes, and last laugh tickets. It does not work in the Phantom Zone for us when Phantom Zone is around, because Phantom Zone requires an online connection. We've heard comments from others who have had some success. Not the case for us. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. Remember, this is super important, as we get more reports of people not having events like the Phantom Zone and challenges show up when they're supposed to. Put your clock back to normal. Clock and calendar back to normal before you finish, because if you don't, that is going to mess up the synchronicity between your device and the server for Injustice, and that's what screws up the events showing up. In between working and not working glitches, we have the promotion glitch, where you can promote characters that are still locked. The conditions have not been right since update 2.14, still not testable, still not usable, but on that technicality, it hasn't failed us yet, because every time it has been there where the conditions are right, it has worked. So we're going to remove it the first time it fails us. I mean, it's basically not doable. So anyways, that's it. So this is where we like to give a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon, and that would be Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi 127, and newly joining us is Nora Klimek. And I hugely apologize for messing up your name in the Q&A earlier this week. The other names you see on the screen are people who have supported us at some point during the pandemic, for which we are very grateful. And we are also grateful for you, our viewer, without whom this channel probably wouldn't still be going. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next time. Komoda.